Welcome to Stoic Psyche Wisdom, a sanctuary for minds learning to stand firm in the storms of life. Today, we step into a truth so ancient, yet so necessary, it can change how you face every challenge from this day forward. This is not merely about survival. It's about transformation through adversity. It's about learning the Stoic art of Amor Fati, the love of fate. Let's begin with a story that tests every human limit. Imagine one night, you stand before everything you've ever built, your life's work, your dreams, your memories, and it's all in flames. The night is silent except for the crackle of burning wood and the hiss of collapsing beams. Most of us would fall to our knees, curse the heavens, and drown in despair. But one man did something different. He stood there quietly, hands folded behind his back, eyes glowing in the reflection of the inferno. He turned to his son and said, "Go get your mother. She'll never see a fire like this again." No anger. No panic, no complaint. Just calm acceptance and the quiet strength of a man who understood that life destroys so it can rebuild. That man was Thomas Edison. That moment was Amor Fati in action. Part 1. The Paradox of Acceptance, turning surrender into strength acceptance, perhaps the most misunderstood word in the human vocabulary. To many, it sounds like defeat. It sounds like giving up, letting go of control, or bowing before injustice. But to the Stoics, acceptance was not submission. It was the first act of power. To reject what is to waste energy fighting the unchangeable. To accept what is to reclaim that energy and channel it into transformation. "Don't wish for things to happen as you want them to," said Epictetus, "but wish for them to happen exactly as they do, and your life will flow smoothly." Acceptance does not mean you approve of the pain. It means you understand that reality has already happened, and arguing with it is like arguing with the wind. You cannot command the storm, but you can command the sail. Think of a river. It flows endlessly toward the sea. If you try to swim against it, you exhaust yourself. But if you learn its current, you can use its force to move forward faster than you ever imagined. That is the paradox of acceptance. What you embrace begins to empower you. A man who refuses to accept his loss becomes bitter. A man who accepts it learns to rebuild with wisdom. The same storm that destroys a weak tree gives the oak its strength. Acceptance, therefore, is not weakness. It is the birth of wisdom. The moment you stop asking, "Why me?" and begin asking, "What now?" Part 2. The Fire of Thomas Edison. The Rebirth Through Destruction. Let's return to Edison's fire. That night, his life's work, dozens of years of inventions, blueprints, dreams, turned to ash. Observers said he looked almost serene, as if he was watching a sunset rather than a disaster. 6 weeks later, the factory was humming again. 6 months later, Edison's reborn laboratory produced innovations that would define the next century. What gave him that composure? Not luck, not denial. It was a mind trained in Stoic principles, acceptance, discipline, and creative resilience. Edison's fire became a metaphor for every life. Each of us, at some point, faces our own version of that burning night. A betrayal, a loss, a dream collapsing before our eyes. The question is never, "Why is this happening to me?" The question is, "How will I use this fire?" Edison didn't just rebuild a factory. He rebuilt himself, leaner, wiser, stronger. He didn't curse the flames. He thanked them for showing him what was truly indestructible. This is Amor Fati. Not loving pain, but loving what pain produces when you meet it with courage. Part 3. Epictetus and the Art of Inner Freedom. Epictetus was born into slavery. He owned nothing, not even his own body. Yet, within him, he found the one thing no master could touch, his mind. He realized that true freedom is not external. It is internal. Freedom is not the absence of chains. It is the absence of resentment. Men are disturbed not by things, he wrote, but by the view which they take of them. Imagine being delayed at an airport. Everyone around you is furious, cursing, pacing, shouting. But one traveler sits quietly with a cup of tea, reading. The plane is still delayed for both of them, but one man has peace, the other torment. The difference? Perspective. Epictetus's message echoes across centuries. You don't control events. You control interpretation. Between stimulus and response lies the gap where power lives. That gap is Stoicism in motion. Pause. Breathe. Choose your response. Every time you do, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. Part 4. Marcus Aurelius. Fuel for the fire. When Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote Meditations, he wasn't sitting on a golden throne with grapes and comfort. He wrote it during war, famine, plague, and betrayal by his own son. And yet, amid all that, he penned these immortal words. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. It sounds poetic, but it's brutally practical. Obstacles are not barriers, they're blueprints. The universe hides your growth inside your challenges. Marcus understood that hardship is not an interruption to life. It is life's greatest teacher. When he said, "What's thrown into the fire becomes fuel for the fire," he revealed the heart of Amor Fati. A Stoic doesn't ask for a lighter load. A Stoic asks for a stronger back. When you adopt that mindset, failure loses its poison. Every setback becomes material for mastery. Part 5. Life's tests in the modern world. Fast forward to today. Our wars are quieter but just as fierce. Anxiety, heartbreak, rejection, burnout, failure. Life will give you exactly the tests you need to evolve. Want patience? You'll face frustration. Want courage? You'll face fear. Want humility? You'll face humiliation. This is not cruelty. It's curriculum. Look around. Some lost everything and found themselves. Some were betrayed and discovered boundaries. Some failed publicly and discovered purpose privately. A woman once dreamed of Olympic gold. A sudden accident ended her career. For a year she was broken. Then, slowly, she began coaching young athletes. Years later, one of them won gold. She said, "I didn't lose my dream. I just changed how I live it." That is Amor Fati. It's not the denial of pain. It's the reconstruction of meaning. Part 6. Robert Greene. When Fate Tests Your Philosophy. Author. Robert Greene, who wrote about mastery and stoic calm, once suffered a stroke that paralyzed half his body. For a man obsessed with self-discipline, this was the ultimate test. He later said, "I can't say I love my stroke, but I've accepted it, and I've learned more from it than any success ever taught me." That is the mature form of Amor Fati, not romanticizing suffering, but understanding its necessity. He learned to walk again. He learned to write again, slowly, painfully. He learned that wisdom is not in avoiding pain, but in enduring it consciously. This level of acceptance is where philosophy becomes real, because fate will eventually call your bluff. You say you're stoic until life demands proof. Part 7. Nietzsche and the Courage to Love. Everything Friedrich Nietzsche gave us perhaps the boldest statement ever written. My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward, not for all eternity. Imagine that. To love every moment so completely that if you could live your life again, you'd choose it exactly the same. The joy and the sorrow, the victories and the mistakes. He wasn't advocating masochism. He was pointing to a profound truth. If you erase pain, you erase depth. If you erase failure, you erase wisdom. To love your fate is to say, everything that has happened to me, every wound, every loss, has been the raw material of my soul. Amor Fati is not blind optimism. It's spiritual realism. Pain, Nietzsche wrote, introduced me to myself. Because when life strips away illusion, What's left is truth. Part 8. How to practice Amor Fati. Every day, Amor Fati isn't a theory. It's a daily practice. Here are the 4 disciplines of living it every single day. Pause before reaction. When something goes wrong, stop for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, you separate instinct from wisdom. Emotion wants to speak first. Let reason answer last. That pause is where strength lives. Ask, what is this teaching me? Every challenge hides a lesson. If you lose something, learn detachment. If someone betrays you, learn discernment. If life humbles you, learn humility. The question changes your chemistry. It turns pain into curriculum. Act with gratitude. Gratitude is rebellion against despair. Be thankful not because life is perfect, but because you still have the power to respond with grace. Thank the rain, it reminds you of warmth. Thank rejection, it redirected you. Thank failure, it refined you. Transmute pain into purpose. Don't let your wounds define you. Let them design you. The broken bone, when healed, becomes stronger at the fracture. The scar on the soul becomes the mark of experience. Share what you've learned. Your story becomes someone else's light. Part 9. When life burns down. Your plans one day, life will set fire to your plans, just like Edison's factory. Your relationship may end, your career may collapse, your health may falter. That's when Stoicism stops being an idea and becomes your only way forward. When the fire starts, remember, you cannot always control the flames, but you can control your stance. Stand tall in the smoke. Breathe slowly. Say quietly to yourself, "This is my forge." Then watch as the fire refines you into something stronger. Part 10. The Alchemy of Adversity. Alchemy is the art of turning lead into gold. Stoicism is the art of turning suffering into wisdom. Every hardship contains the seed of its opposite. Fear hides courage. Loss hides appreciation. Failure hides reinvention. Edison, Epictetus, Marcus, Nietzsche, Green, all different men, same lesson. What destroys the shallow self reveals the deeper one. To live with Amor Fati is to trust that even your detours were necessary. Every wrong turn was part of the map you were meant to follow. Part 11. Your turn to embrace the fire. Now pause this story and look at your own life. What has burned down recently? What loss still whispers through your thoughts at night? That is your fire. And inside, it is your rebirth waiting. Say this quietly. I will not be the victim of fire. I will be the fire. Because the world doesn't get easier. You get stronger. Conclusion. Turn your fire into light. Amor Fati doesn't teach you to love pain. It teaches you to see through it, to find meaning within the flame. Edison smiled in destruction. Marcus wrote philosophy amid chaos. Epictetus found freedom in slavery. Nietzsche found greatness in suffering. Robert Greene found peace in limitation. And you, whatever you face, can find power in acceptance. Fate is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every hardship is a forge. Every loss is a lesson. Every ending is a new form of beginning. So the next time life tests you, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What part of me is this fire forging?" Remember, pain, betrayal, loss, each one is shaping your soul. Stand in the flames long enough and you'll discover something extraordinary. You were never meant to escape the fire. You were meant to become it. Welcome to the Stoic path, where we don't wait for peace, we build it. One breath, one trial, one act of courage at a time.